go tell that to the producers of Howard the Duck. But then you go and make it even more complicated. Most comic collaborators start with a story, add the dialogue, and then work out the pictures. You and writer Mark Evanier start with the artwork.
I write the plot of the comic. I write ideas, and I give it to him very... I penciled a large page, complete, with all the story, and put very succinct dialogue, very basic, what I want to say. And then sometimes I know that I work with him so much that I know where a gag goes, because we have these running gags, and I know how to play that. So I put the gag here, or Mark, please save this page, or add some this, and you know what I mean here. And then I go to his house and read these notes and very basic penciling sketches to him, and I go to him, and he says yes, and a few things, he understands the whole. Then I go home, he writes it, gets it to the letterist, writes the poetry, which is excellent, and adds the gags, and from the letterist come back to me, and I die laughing because now the dialogue makes a lot of sense. When I didn't know the gag that I wanted there, now I know it, and it's very funny. And then the only thing I have to do now that I pencil more is change the expressions of the character to fit the dialogue. And then I just pencil and ink and back to the next issue.
Sounds like a ton of work. When you started drawing cartoons, a lot of your readers weren't even born. What keeps you going?
Because I love comics, and I have great memories of them, and I work them for me. See, I draw comics for me, and I enjoy drawing them, and I enjoy writing them, and there's nothing more fun to do. And for the small percentage that loves your work and really reads it and have fun with them, that's worth it.
Thanks, Sergio. The biggest market for humorous cartoons is the daily newspapers. There were daily funnies long before there were comic books. Over the years, humor has matured from Little Abner to Charlie Brown to Doonesbury. The latest and most sophisticated strips are The Far Side and Bizarro. Nancy, connect me to the Bizarro behind Bizarro, Dan Peraro. Dan, it's the commander. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Are we on? My name is Dan Peraro, and I'm a syndicated cartoonist. I create a panel called Bizarro.
Okay. Tell the folks a wee bit about yourself.
Well, actually, I was raised in a convent in Europe, and my parents were applying for amnesty from Venezuela. They traveled across the border into Europe, and no, that's not true. They came from no, I wasn't raised in a convent, and I don't know the history of my own cartoon. In fact, I was drawing cartoon. I was drawing. What was I? I was doing advertising for Neiman Marcus.
The department store? But I thought you wanted to be the Salvador Dali of Dallas. Your work adorning galleries and museums. Instead, your work decorates the world's refrigerators under little fruit-shaped magnets.
Yes. I wanted, all my life, I wanted to be a fine artist. I aspired to be in the Louvre's museum, or in the Met, or the Guggenheim, or whatever that one in New York is. I wanted those same things, and I was a fairly prodigious artist as a small child. I was really gifted, and those were the things I wanted. But I chickened out, and I went for the bucks. And there's not a lot of money in fine art, and I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't let that secret out, but there's not a great deal of money in fine arts. And I got married. That led to children. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm not sure what the sequence there is, but they want to eat, so we, you know, my wife and I try to come up with these ways to feed them, and one of them is to draw things that will go on people's refrigerators, and it makes money. But I like it, you know. I'm a, you know, I have this sense of humor, and I can draw. It seems like a logical 2 + 2 situation where you put them together, and even my fine arts paintings had a certain kind of a satirical edge to them or something. You know, I mean, I can't resist screwing things up and making them funny. My mother used to say, my mother would look at my paintings when I was a teenager, and she'd say, I get down to the end, and she'd go, why do you always want to mess them up? They're just perfectly beautiful, and then you've got to go in there and throw someone's head upside down. Why do you have to mess them up? Now, I can't hang them in my living room, you know, and she didn't understand. My mom's a sweet woman, but she didn't understand what I was trying to do. So, you know, it just seemed like a logical thing. It just happened to me. It's something that happened to me. It's, you know, it happened.
A lot of traditional comic strips are based on recognition. Family Circle, Blondie, even Charlie Brown. You seem to really flip expectations.
When I turn things around that way, I think that this is something that comes naturally, but I think that this is an attempt to show people the ridiculousness of what they're doing by turning it around. You know, you see the contrast, and somehow that makes it more ridiculous. I see society as being this enormous flock of sheep. And I look out in the studio, the art studio I have in Dallas is near downtown, and there's trolley cars, and there's a lot of traffic at lunchtime. And I look out, and I see these guys walking along in business suits, and they're all the same. And when the wind blows, their tie is all over their right shoulder, which I love. I love that style. It's one of my favorites. And they're all walking down the street with the same haircuts and the same clothes, and they're on the way to the restaurant. And then they come back 40 minutes later, and they're on the way to the office. And these kinds of things just drive me crazy about society. I can't stand them. I can't stand institutionalization of any kind. I would rather die than be in prison or college.
I wanted to talk to you about your themes, you know, your motivations, your life view. So why don't you just tell me about one of your favorite cartoons?
Okay. You got these two people standing on a street corner, and they're reading a big brass plaque on the side of a huge cement building with a great an entryway with a lot of pillars and stone and stuff, and it looks very official. And they're reading the plaque, and it says, "This is the corner of the building used to join perpendicular walls. Plaque marking main entrance located 30 feet to your right." And this is another one of my stabs at just sort of the pompous, self-righteous kind of, you know, people, this society, why do we want to label everything? Why does everything have to be labeled? Who are these people that go around with Camaro across the back window of their Camaro? And why do they wear, you know, down where I come from, everybody has their name on the back of their belt. What is that for? They wear these Western belts, and their name is tooled in the back, you know, Lenny Bob, or Gussie Mack, or, you know, they're all Billy Bob is what it is. I want to get one, except that they're expensive. I want to get one of these things, and I want to have it hand-tooled to say belt on the back. You know, I don't want a shirt that says shirt. What is that? Why do people have to label everything? Do they forget what they have? You know, Camaro. What is that? Maybe you don't know either.
No idea. Maybe I should go out and write belt on my Camaro, you know, make a cosmic sense of the whole thing. Dan, why did you decide to draw a one-panel strip as opposed to the traditional long, you know, three-panel?
Because it was what came naturally. That was just, it seemed to be the way I thought, and the way I drew, and that was what I did. It worked the best, and it got the best response, so.
And you only got to do one drawing.
And it's a third the work. That's the, I think, really the important issue. It's 1/3 the work that a full strip is, and that's always important to me. Less work, more money.
That's the spirit. There's bucks in them yucks. Take care, Dan. We'll talk to you again real soon. Will Rogers once said that a comedian can last until he takes himself seriously. Science fiction takes itself far too seriously. Comics take themselves far too seriously. The world takes itself far too seriously. But now and then along comes a witty bit of satire that reminds us of what's really important. Beat me up, Scotty. Next week on Second Nature, oh no, that one was canceled. Next week on Second Nature, how eating everything on your plate in a North American home can actually help hungry children in Africa. A mother explains.